What's up, YouTube gamers? Young Soul dropping another video. And for my subscribers who've been here for over a week, you guys know that I got an Xbox One about a week ago this time, and I've been doing nothing but going through it, comparing different things backwards and forwards. And today I was really just going to hit on the hardware design, the concept behind how what was in the thinking of these people when they made these consoles. And the Xbox One, if you remember, was Don Matrick coming out saying the Xbox was called the Xbox One because it would be an all-in-one entertainment device. And it truly lives up to that. It is truly an all-in-one. My problem with that is that I want to game first and do other entertainment things second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. But I want an emphasis when you design the console on games first. And it doesn't seem like Xbox did that. Now, you can sit here and argue whether or not you like Xbox games better than PlayStation games, or PlayStation games didn't come out with anything. That's all opinion, and that's fine. But as far as the way the consoles were designed, okay, it's clear as day that the PlayStation was designed with games in mind first, and other things as a secondary, or like an add-on piece, or like a side dish, so to speak. Whereas Xbox, it made it seem, they designed it as if games were equal with movies or equal with TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like gaming first and then TV and movies second or third, second and third, or whatever the case may be. It was, no, all of them are all the same. They're all a tie for first, so to speak. Whereas PlayStation, it was gaming first. There's several things you could tell in the design of this console that's best, but that point to that. Number one, and I'll get into this later when I get to the features. I'll get to this more when I get to the UI, because I'll do another video about UI and another one about features. And both of these things show that Xbox really didn't, have an emphasis on games any more than anything else. And so, real quick, here's what I notice. If I play a game, okay, and then I go to, let's say, watch some of these other TV apps and some of these other movie apps like Netflix, which PlayStation has as well, but Netflix or this or that, what happens is these other apps get put in front of my gaming app if I don't play my game again. In other words, it's more like it goes in chronological order from the app you used last to the app you used way back. Okay, which means if I game and then I turn around and like my sons or my wife watches this app or VH1 app or Sci-Fi app or HBO app or Netflix, let's say they do all four of those, my games could be knocked off the whole front page of the UI. Okay? Now, I know this sounds like I'm getting into the UI and I'm going to go into it more in depth, but that's a design flaw which basically said games are no bigger deal than movies or TV shows. And that's what I mean. I have to go, I'll get into that. I'll get into it when I compare the UI, but that's like one example of how they didn't really think games or anything were really as big, bigger than movies. They were all kind of like the same. Movies, games, TV shows, all the same. Another design flaw comes with Xbox Live Gold. Now, we all remember back in April, May of 2014 when Phil Spencer took the Kinect out of the box, and he also said that the Xbox Live Gold features would be taken out of the paywall. Well, they weren't taken out of the paywall. Okay, what happened was they just didn't charge you anymore, but they're still behind that wall. It's just not a paywall, but it's still behind the Xbox Live Gold wall. And I did a video about this, so I'm gonna, if I remember, I'll make sure to link it in the description. There was a video I made where a guy complained last holiday, remember 2014, Christmas Day, both PlayStation and Xbox got DDoS attacked and they both went down. There was a guy who hit Phil Spencer on Twitter and said, hey, why can't, I believe it was Netflix. He said, I can't watch Netflix even though Xbox Live is down, even though you took it out from behind the paywall. And he's like, and Phil Spencer was like, yeah, we got to work on it, essentially, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But he essentially was acknowledging that, it was still behind the wall, because if Xbox Live goes down, you can't use Netflix or whatever app he was talking about. I can't remember. I don't have it right in front of me, so I can't really see. But anyway, point is, on PlayStation was down, and me, my wife, and kids were able to sit there and rifle through as many Netflix, shows and movies and all that kind of good stuff as we wanted to that day, even with PSN being down. Now, you see how the design was different? That was a design flaw by Xbox, pretty much making you have to pay at the time. Before Phil Spencer got involved or became the head, you had to pay to get access to. But even when they took the price down to zero, that's essentially what they did. They didn't take it behind the paywall. They just reduced the price of Netflix from, $60 Xbox Live Gold to zero. But it's still where it's at. It's still designed behind the paywall. Okay, or it was Netflix or whatever the thing was. So that's like another example of a design flaw. And there's just a handful more of these things. Like, for instance, Kinect really being a bad design from the get-go. It should have been an add-on piece, but they made it almost the central part of the console, where now I don't have a Kinect, and I can tell through the UI, through some of the features, that I am having it's considerably harder than the PS4 to navigate without the Kinect. So if you don't have a Kinect, to me that's a design flaw. The design flaw was mandating that the Kinect be with every console, and thus designing the console around navigation through the Kinect. Do you see what I'm saying? That's where I say the design flaw is. Like, PlayStation has the camera, but you don't need it to navigate. So it's completely a separate accessory that you don't need. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So that's the design flaw. Now, I'll get into some more things that involve Kinect when I do other comparison videos. Because the Kinect, it being mandatory at first, has screwed up a lot of stuff with this console now that it's not mandatory. Oh, there's a lot of things that are, to me, messed up with this console now. So I'll get to them in several of my other ones. And I know I'm doing at least two more. One with features and one for sure with comparing features and comparing Share Factory versus Upload Studio. So, because you guys know I use that, so I definitely want to get into that. And do me a favor, if you can think of any other features, I don't have exclusives, so don't make me compare games because I won't be able to. But any other things you can think of asking me about this or that with the Xbox One, go ahead and shoot your questions out or ask me to do a comparison on this or that, and I'll do it. Let me know in the comment section for that. Otherwise, I'll holla back. Peace.